parents and furry friends. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Furry Friends and Fun, Pillows Talk, where we dive into the joys and sometimes challenges of life with our four-legged companions. I'm your host, Emma, and today we're talking about something every dog parent knows all too well, potty time. Whether it's training a puppy or handling those last-minute outdoor runs, potty time has its moments, both fun and frustrating. As always, I'm joined by Ava and Oliver. So, how do your dogs handle their potty breaks?
Hey, Emma. Hi, everyone. Oh, Daisy's potty time has been a journey, to say the least. She was great as a puppy, but had a few, shall we say, accidents when we first started potty training. Now she's a pro, but I'll never forget the time she decided that my favorite rug was the perfect place to do her business.
Good evening, all. Potty training Rufus was, how do I put it, an adventure in patience. He's a clever boy, but for some reason, he decided that every new spot outside was a territory to mark. It took a while to get him to understand that the backyard was his go-to place. And then there was the time he decided that my shoes looked like a lovely little garden. Let's just say those shoes didn't make it.
Haha, I can relate to both of you. Ruby had her fair share of indoor accidents as a puppy, and she definitely made me question if she understood the concept of outside. But over time, we figured it out. Potty training is tough, but once you and your dog get into a routine, it's so rewarding. So let's share some tips for our listeners who might be struggling with potty training their pups.
Definitely. For Daisy, consistency was key. I made sure to take her out at the same times every day, right after meals, after playtime, and first thing in the morning. I also gave her a lot of praise and a treat every time she went outside. It took some time, but eventually she got the hang of it. Oh, and I learned that patience is everything. Sometimes it feels like they'll never learn, but trust me, they will.
You're absolutely right, Ava. Consistency and patience are critical. With Rufus, it took a few extra weeks because he was so stubborn about marking everything. I used to take him to the same spot in the yard every time, and slowly but surely, he got the message. I also learned to keep a close eye on his signals when he'd start sniffing around or pacing. I'd rush him outside. Now he gives me a little look when it's time to go, which is progress.
Yes, watching for those signs is so important. Ruby has a little routine too. She'll walk to the door and give me that it's time look. Another tip that helped us a lot was crate training. Ruby loved her crate, and since dogs don't usually like to go where they sleep, it really helped her learn bladder control. Plus, it gave me peace of mind when I couldn't watch her every second. I know crate training isn't for everyone, but for us, it was a lifesaver during potty training.
I've heard great things about crate training. For Daisy, I used positive reinforcement as much as possible. I made potty time a fun experience. I'd bring a toy or her favorite treat to make sure she associated going outside with something positive. And when she did have accidents, I learned not to get frustrated, especially when she was little. It's all part of the process, and they're trying their best.
Exactly, Ava. And let's not forget, they're learning a lot during those first few months. I think one of the funniest moments for Rufus was when he finally understood the routine. He was so proud of himself every time he went outside that he'd come running back to me, wagging his tail like he'd just won a gold medal. It became a little celebration every time.
Haha, that's so cute. Ruby was the same. Every time she went potty outside, she'd do her little zoomies running around like she'd just conquered the world. And honestly, it made me feel so proud too. It's those little victories that make potty training worth the effort. Plus, it's a great bonding experience.
Absolutely. And for those listening who might be going through potty training right now, just know that it's totally normal for there to be accidents and setbacks. It doesn't mean your dog isn't getting it. It just takes time. And don't be afraid to try different methods, like crate training or using a designated potty spot in the yard.
Yes, and remember, it's okay to laugh about the mishaps. We've all had those moments where you turn your back for 1 second and suddenly find a surprise puddle or worse. It's all part of the experience, And with time, those little mishaps become funny stories you'll tell later.
Exactly. Potty training is all about patience, consistency, and staying positive. And hey, if you've got a funny or challenging potty training story, we'd love to hear it. Share your stories with us on social media, because we know every pet parent has a good one.
Yes, potty training can feel like a roller coaster, but you and your pup will get through it. And remember, every dog is different. What works for one might not work for another. So don't be afraid to try new things and figure out what works best for your furry friend.
Absolutely. And no matter how difficult the process can be, those moments when your dog finally gets it are worth every little accident. So, let's hear those potty time adventures.
Well, that's it for today's episode of Furry Friends and Fun, Pillows Talk. Thanks, Ava and Oliver, for sharing your potty training stories and tips. And to our listeners, remember, potty training takes time, but with patience and consistency, you and your pup will get there. Don't forget to check out our blog at A Glamorous Paw Life for more tips, stories, and everything you need to give your pet the glamorous life they deserve. Until next time, because every pet deserves a glamorous life. See you soon, friends!